Voddie Tharon Baucham Jr., born on March 11, 1969, and passing on September 25, 2025, left behind a lasting impact as a pastor, educator, writer, and unapologetic defender of his Christian faith. For decades, he stood as one of the most recognizable voices in evangelical life, known for his uncompromising convictions on theology, culture, and family. His ministry journey carried him from the neighborhoods of Los Angeles to the pulpits of Texas, from lecture halls in Zambia to a seminary in Florida, and along the way, he became a figure both celebrated and contested, but never ignored. Though his upbringing in Los Angeles was kept mostly private, young Voddie's early years revolved around both academics and sports. His athletic talent led him to play football as a tight end at New Mexico State University and later Rice University. Yet athletics gave way to a deeper calling. His studies eventually turned toward theology at Houston Baptist University, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts and developed a clearer sense of direction. His preparation for ministry continued at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, where he completed a Master of Divinity, and at Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary, where he earned a Doctor of Ministry. He even pursued postgraduate studies at Oxford, broadening his perspective and exposing him to global theological traditions. By the early 1990s, Baucham was already pouring his energy into ministry. In 1993, he established Voddie Baucham Ministries, which became a platform for his preaching and writing. His passionate sermons, rich with biblical depth and sharp cultural critique, resonated with young Christians searching for clarity during a time of shifting trends in evangelical life. His presence at the early Passion conferences further expanded his influence, making him a sought-after voice within evangelical youth culture. In the years that followed, he settled into pastoral work at Grace Family Baptist Church in Spring, Texas, where he became known for his emphasis on family-integrated worship and discipleship. He urged parents, especially fathers, to take responsibility for spiritual formation in the home, believing that healthy families were the foundation of a strong church. His leadership extended into Reformed Baptist circles, where he served on the board of Founders Ministries and championed a return to confessional, doctrinally rich Christianity. A dramatic turn came in 2015, when he and his family relocated to Lusaka, Zambia. There he served as Dean of Theology at African Christian University, pouring nearly a decade into teaching and mentoring pastors. His move was not simply geographical, but deeply missional. He believed that the growing church in Africa needed rigorous theological training, and he invested himself in building that vision. His years in Zambia elevated his voice to a global stage, connecting biblical orthodoxy with cultural critique in ways that spoke to diverse audiences. Even while abroad, Baucham kept ties with the Southern Baptist Convention in the U.S. In 2022, he revealed he had been asked to consider a nomination for the presidency of the SBC, though he acknowledged that his missionary role complicated eligibility. By 2024, he returned with his family to America, and in January 2025, he became the founding president of Founders Seminary in Cape Coral, Florida. This new venture allowed him to shape the next generation of pastors and leaders within a firmly reformed theological framework, a task he embraced until his sudden passing later that year. Theologically, Baucham was clear about his identity. He described himself as a committed Calvinist who fully embraced the 1689 Baptist Confession of Faith. He never shied away from controversial language if he thought it conveyed biblical truth, once stirring debate in the documentary American Gospel, Christ Alone, when he said that God killed Jesus to describe the atoning work of Christ. Such statements reflected both his boldness and the polarizing effect of his ministry. His teachings extended beyond theology into cultural and family life. He became one of the most outspoken advocates of what he termed gospel patriarchy, believing that Scripture set distinct roles for men and women within the home and society. His 2009 book, What He Must Be, If He Wants to Marry My Daughter, laid out his convictions about male leadership, while his earlier family-driven faith in 2007 called fathers to take up the mantle of discipleship within their homes. He openly opposed Sarah Palin's candidacy for vice president in 2008, arguing that women should prioritize family over political office, a stance that drew criticism but reflected his consistency. His appearance in the documentary Return of the Daughters aligned him with the stay-at-home daughter movement, further cementing his reputation as a strong proponent of countercultural family structures. Education was another area where Baucham pressed hard. Believing that public schools undermined Christian values, he and his wife Bridget chose to homeschool their 9 children. His critiques of modern education echoed in his writing and preaching, where he called parents to reject cultural norms in favor of biblical discipleship. To him, the church's future depended on families faithfully grounded in Scripture. Cultural debates of the 2020s gave him yet another platform. As discussions of race, social justice, and critical theory dominated both church and society, Baucham emerged as a forceful critic. His 2021 book Fault Lines, The Social Justice Movement and Evangelicalism's Looming Catastrophe, argued that critical theory, including critical race theory and intersectionality, was rooted in Marxist ideology and fundamentally opposed to biblical Christianity. The book earned him praise among conservatives while drawing fire from opponents who accused him of oversimplification. He was even accused of plagiarism and misattribution in parts of the text, though his publisher dismissed the concerns, and he continued to defend his arguments vigorously. Baucham's personal life was marked by both joy and trials. He became a Christian in 1987, a conversion that redirected his life completely. He and Bridget, whom he married in 1989, raised 9 children together, building their home around the same principles he preached. Away from ministry, he dedicated himself to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which he practiced passionately as both sport and discipline. His later years, however, were shadowed by health struggles. In 2021, he suffered heart failure, requiring treatment at the Mayo Clinic in Florida. The Christian community rallied around him, raising more than $1 million to cover medical costs. His recovery allowed him to continue serving for several more years, and in 2022, he was honored with the Boniface Award from the Association of Classical Christian Schools for his steadfast defense of Christian truth. The end of his life came suddenly on September 25, 2025, when he died at age 56 following an emergency health crisis. His passing shocked both American evangelicals and the broader international church, especially those in Africa who had been directly touched by his teaching. He left behind his wife, 9 children, and countless followers who had been shaped by his ministry. Though often controversial, even his critics recognized that Baucham lived consistently with the convictions he professed. He was not a man who sought to please the crowd, but one who believed the gospel demanded courage and clarity, no matter the cost. His books, his sermons, the institutions he helped build, and the generations of students and families he influenced remain a testament to his life's work. Voddie Baucham's legacy is that of a man who, whether in the pulpit, the classroom, or the public square, sought to apply Scripture to every sphere of life and to call others to do the same. Thanks for watching, share with friends, and please subscribe for more videos.